My Spy is directed by Peter Segal, the man behind the remake of The Longest Yard and Get Smart. And this movie stars Dave Bautista as JJ, a tough guy CIA agent who has been demoted and finds himself at the mercy of 9-year-old Sophie, played by Coleman. He's basically been sent undercover to surveil Sophie's family because their distant relatives are basically bad news and wanted men. However, when Sophie discovers hidden cameras in her apartment that JJ has planted, she uses her tech savviness to locate where the surveillance operation is set. And in exchange for not blowing JJ's cover, Sophie convinces him to spend time with her and teach her how to be a spy herself. So honestly, guys, looking at the trailers and the poster for this movie, I legit thought this was going to be utter trash. It reminded me a lot of the movie The Game Plan. Do you guys remember The Game Plan? It had The Rock playing this really macho Terrell Owens-esque quarterback who finds out he has a ballerina for a daughter. Bad movie. The Rock honestly saved it from being utter disaster. And just by looking at the promotional material for My Spy, it made me think back to that specific feature. But I will admit, I'll hold my hand up and admit when I'm wrong. My Spy is so much better than The Game Plan. I actually found myself really enjoying this movie, surprisingly. And a lot of that has to do with Bautista's performance, honestly. He has proven himself to be super funny over these past few years with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and Stuber especially. As JJ, I thought Bautista did a great job with what he was given. The comedy scenes especially. He's really good in the limited action sequences we get in this film also. And without spoiling anything, this film has one of my favorite cliches with Bautista at a couple of points: the slow-mo. Super fun, super cheesy is all I can say. I also really liked the performance of the young girl, Coleman, as Sophie. She was excellent, very good child performance. And one thing I liked about this kid was that she's smart, she's clever. And her chemistry with Bautista brought us a good amount of fun and a surprising amount of heart as well. I think this film is very well performed. Jeong is in this movie for a couple of scenes. He's always a nice presence. I think it's a well-directed movie, well shot, well edited. The issues I have with this movie mostly have to do with a very important facet of any film, and that's, say it with me now, the screenplay. Now, I realize I just took a couple seconds praising the comedy of this movie, which surprisingly is pretty funny most of the time. But overall, this blueprint for this storyline that they're telling, I feel like I've seen this story so many times before. Very formulaic. It's almost like they took the blueprint of the plot of The Game Plan and they just made a better movie out of it. Now, I mentioned earlier that this young girl, Sophie, is very clever, and the screenplay will make an effort to tell you how clever she is. My issue with this movie is mostly resting on the screenplay not really trusting its audience enough. There are so many moments in this movie where Bautista just looks at this little girl and he's like, well, damn, kid, you're smart. Damn, this kid's good. Like, show me, don't tell me that she's smart. Imagine if Macaulay Culkin is Kevin from Home Alone, who, once again, extremely clever character, one of the best child performances in film history, in my opinion. Like, think back and what if John Hughes wrote in the script a bunch of lines for Harry and Marv to be like, shut it, Marv! God, this kid's too good. Like, imagine how ridiculous that sounds. That's what this movie did. Many times. And of course, like I said, this is a very formulaic story, which leads to one of my least favorite tropes in all of storytelling. You have the main character who's revealed later on that he's a liar to the people that he loves, and then they start to resent him because he was a liar, but then they make up for it at the end. Like, I've seen that story way too many times, guys. So these criticisms that I'm giving you guys really makes it sound like I hated My Spy. But if I said that to you guys, I'd be lying myself. Because damn it, those other parts are just so good. Talk about being so close to be the biggest surprise of the year 2020 in cinema, and then just stepping on your own foot. Nevertheless, I'm gonna give My Spy a C+. It doesn't exactly add anything new to this formula of a movie, but I do think the performances and the comedic chemistry between Bautista and the young girl really carry this movie over the top to be at least an above average comedy. The movie's out on Amazon Prime right now, free for members. I'd recommend at least giving it a watch, because in the grand scheme of things, it's a perfectly harmless way to spend about an hour and a half. If you guys like a movie where Bautista whips and then he nay-nays shortly afterwards, I think this movie is definitely the picture for you. But yeah, give it a watch and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. And guys, thank you so much as always for watching. If you like what you're seeing from me, go ahead and feel free to hit that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can. You guys rock. Look forward to more reviews very soon. And with all that being said, back talk commence.